and it's about also the kind of innovation that has gone into developing this. We have the experience. We started this way back in 2005, right from school, and the truth is, a lot of things that we are working on in Dreamover are things that we started from university.
Okay.
Some of them were class projects, some of them were people's final year project, and that's what we are using. That's what we've converted them to commercial business models that we are running now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Deridin Dazi of Dreamover, young guy with a team that are trying to make a difference using technology and making things easy. You have something you call SMS Solutions, or the other stream of your business, SMS Solutions. And what's that?
So we have different solution that that is powered by our SMS messaging platform, what we technically call ORServe, and we have different institutions or different businesses using it. We have the banks utilizing it. We have ADB that's using it in our platform. So if you, for example, you're a customer of ADB and you get a transaction notification, the solution that enables that is powered by Dreamover. If you're at Fidelity Bank, if you're at Ghana Home Loans, these people are using our services to enable to provide notifications for their customers. So that is what we do in the SMS side, and we also we have platforms to enable you to send thousands of SMS at one click.
Wow, that's interesting. So you specialize in online payments and SMS solutions. But what is exciting me more about what you do is the third one, mobile apps. I mean, I got my, what's the name of this phone? This Android phone from RLG, and it's been like, I haven't stopped downloading apps, and there's an app for everything. So can Dreamover do a CTFM app if I wanted to, people who use Android phones or iPhones to have access to the content I generate? Can your team develop an app for me?
Most definitely.
How easy is that, and how much will it cost me?
So when it comes to cost, you don't just say it's going to cost you this amount. You have to go through a process, and you know, so it depends. It depends. It depends on what goes into it.
How do you guys? So you have you done any apps?
Yeah, we've done a couple of apps. We've done apps for different people.
How does it work? Are you free to mention the names of these?
Oh yeah, why not? Currently, one of the last apps that we did was for Grameen Foundation.
Okay.
For a project that was aimed at reducing maternal health mortality.
Okay.
Which was or maternal mortality, which is a big deal, you know, in rural Africa, where people are going to give birth and then they have complications and sometimes they die, and it's because they don't have the requisite attention. They needed attention. So what we did, we were consulted by Grameen Foundation to be part of a team across the world to develop a platform that will enable nurses in those rural communities who usually do not have access to the requisite infrastructure, health, road, electricity, to be able to get access to these mothers who are pregnant, expectant mothers. So they go to these communities, use a mobile phone, an application that we built on these phones. They go there, they register them, and then the data is sent. Is transferred onto a server that is based in Accra.
Okay. Right.
What that happens is that, and these how do you call it, nurses, when they are there, because there's a database and there's some kind of process that are going on in there, they get notification. They'll say Zulela of Zabzuzuk Tatale is 6 months into a pregnancy. She needs to be given this kind of drug.
Okay.
So the nurse would take a motorbike.
So what you're saying is that it prompts the nurse as to what to do. So she goes with the mobile phone, gets the information based on your app, and there's a central place which now is like, it's a database of all the pregnant women in the district. And then it notifies the nurse as to where to go at what time, what to check for. And you're saying that because you don't have access to hospitals, this is a more efficient way of sending healthcare out there.
Most definitely.
But you're saying that this was paid for by who? Was this the district health? Was this the government? Who came up with it?
So we got paid by Grameen Foundation.
But the Grameen Foundation?
Yeah, Grameen Foundation. I know that the project was sponsored by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Is this, can we stretch this nationally? Because we have a huge national health service. And there are places that don't have hospitals. Having piloted this with the Grameen Foundation, do you have the capacity? Do you think this is something that we can use to, just like the way mobile phones have bridged the gap? We don't have the infrastructure to make landline calls throughout the country, but mobile phones have bridged that gap. Do you think this app can help bridge the healthcare gap?
Most definitely. I think it's something that we could push across board, and that means that to push it, we need dedication from all the various stakeholders. And there's one thing, having a technology project, and And there's one thing, understanding the relevance of that technology to you. So in Ghana, we have a lot of awareness of different kinds of technologies, even including government has, or even the stakeholder, the decision maker, they know that this exists. But probably there's not the understanding, of how this can help us, in our lives. So that's why sometimes we don't get the needed push for some of these projects. So for your question, yes, it's something that we can stretch it across board. And this project is actually aimed at the entire Africa. Right.
It's a good question and a good point you're making about Africa, because you have a lot of competition. The Western world seems to point to Kenya as the hub of creativity when it comes to applications. Indeed, in the election, there was something they called Map Kibera, which helped people. In fact, Ushahidi itself provided a huge platform. People were able to send text messages to inform police or whoever about trouble spots during the election. There's something they called Mchango, which is a similar text message system for. So, do you think that you have enough support domestically to make a difference? You know that when it comes to creativity and development of technology, you need hubs. Like the Silicon Valley and co. Do you think that we have that critical mass of people in this country to help you come up with all the stuff that you guys can do?
So when you say critical mass, if you're talking about critical technical mass, I believe that there are the people who could be groomed to become, the technology innovators, right? In terms of people who can support either with policy or with their money, I doubt that we have that critical mass. So the resources for me are available, contrary to.
So the talent is there. The software developers here are as good as anywhere else.
Most definitely, because we have had situations where, for example, last week we were doing our own thing, but one of our customers who has an international consultant working on this project had to call us, to help solve a problem that we believe that wasn't ours. So technically, I believe that Ghana, we have the resources, we have the mind, but in terms of policy, in terms of the stakeholders who can act, the money, the finance, I think we don't have those things. And for me, that is one of the challenges that we face, in the technology economy. One of the things that I realized was that a lot of people complain about the lack of the technical resources for especially software development companies. Dreamover, we've taken a different approach. We believe that if we have the right processes, if we have the right design, the right architecture, we can get people with an appreciable or appreciated level of understanding to develop whatever idea that we have. So we are big on design, we are big on processes, and because of that, we're able to use interns, we're able to use tech students, we're able to use a third year student to develop innovative, project that we are using in the market. And that's our cash cow. That's making us money.
Interesting. Jerry Dindas is talking to me about his dream oval. Final question before I read one or two comments. How have you made a transition from being a techie, smart guy who develops apps, who can design software, to a solid business? Because that involves negotiation, that involves some financial acumen. How did your young team, because I meet a lot of young people who are very creative with great ideas, but there's something about the idea that will not make it survive in the business world. How difficult was it for you to make that transition from being a creative techie to a solid business, employing people, hiring and firing, negotiating deals and all that?
I think for any technology business, you need to recognize that the business of your business is not just business. There are things that you have to learn. One thing that we did from scratch is document our processes. We made sure that roles were clearly defined. We made sure that we avoided role creeping, where somebody feels that he knows something, so he can tell you what to do all the time. We made sure that we had this right partnership. Some of the partnership failed, but we still made sure that we maintained a certain level of partnership, so that we, first of all, weren't attacked. Because if we were so good and we came out as so good and we're making so much noise, the big boys in the industry could just suppress you. So sometimes you just have to go there, try to partner with them. Sometimes you have to take low deals.
You have to bide your time until you are ready to.
Until you get there. So there are several things that we did, and where we didn't have the competence, we hired or we outsourced such tax or such duties to different companies. When it came to HR, when it came to accounting, we tried to give these things out to people. Some of them we begged them not to charge us big money. Some of them we had to pay them. So there are different approaches
to doing
that we did. Yeah.
Solid, exciting stuff. Sylvanus Bedra says, Derry, I salute you. I have a personal award for you. As I once told you, keep up the good work. You are really the young entrepreneur of the year. I salute you, and may Dream Oval live long. Derry, it's been good having you on the show. Yeah. I'm sure we'll have another chance to talk again. All the best to you and your team at Dream Oval. So as I said to you listeners, this whole week I'm talking to young people who are using technology to make a difference. Tomorrow I'll bring another guest in to tell us more. Derry Dean Darcy is a young entrepreneur, CEO of Dream Oval. You can go onto their website, dreamoval.com, for more information about the stuff they do.